Thank you, Denny. I want to just unwind a little bit. Maybe I'm misunderstanding a couple of things, but I just want to get your input on it regarding what a couple of our colleagues have spoken about, which was the SAFE Act funding. As I understood it, this bill, 8550E, had funding for state police personnel, as I understood it.
Yes.
And then the IT budget in 8554 had the database money. Am I correct on that?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay, so inside this, if you look at this, one of our many books here, starting on page 631 is the division of the state police inside this bill. And I'm wondering if you can point out, or one of the guys could point out to me, where I think there's $3.2 million in there for state police personnel.
Yeah. Well, first, I can give you a bigger picture of it.
Okay.
From what I've been told, is we have in this book, in different locations, money. There's money for the state police, and that's what you're looking at there. There's also the other monies that we talk about is money, that money is for the throughway police. The police who do the throughway is under a number, and then there's a number there of the money for the running of the throughway, and then there's the police, their own separate reporting. So we have two pictures.
Okay.
Of their monies.
Okay, but inside of 8550, in this particular bill, am I correct in the assumption that there's $3.2 million flat funding, same as last year, for state police personnel related to the SAFE Act?
Yes. Okay. Well, let me give you the SAFE Act, where the $3.2 million implementation comes from. $1,500,000 in the Division of State Police, and then there's a $567,000 in the Division of Criminal Service is up to 14, and $1,770,000 in the Office of Information Technology Services. This is the SAFE Act money that was done and the places it has gone.
So those three numbers are somewhere inside here, buried inside the budget.
And that's the $3.2 million.
Right, there's your 3.2. Nothing specific, at least I could see, no specific line item related to the SAFE Act.
No.
So I guess my question would be, other than taking it on faith, how do we know that that's the number? How do we know it's 3.2? Because it isn't lined out, it isn't broken out. How do I know it's not 10 million or 20 million? And there's no specific item that says, for example, OITS, that's a much bigger number than 1.7 million. So where's the verification for those that are...
Well, we don't verify. This is when you do budget, this is not a new thing. This is budgeting from the past, and they put these numbers together because this is what they say they're going to use. So we don't line item them, but we give them that amount of money to function within that expenditure.
I understand.
I mean, we tend not to, make specific because then they can't move it around. So these are all basically in the SAFE Act, so we're trying to make it all available.
But we do line item certain items in a budget. Travel, supplies, contractual services, equipment, things like that are in fact lined out.
Yeah, but this new SAFE Act, I think, is something we want to give a little more freedom to.
Not me, but okay, Denny. So, all right. So within, just to clarify, because I'll probably be back on 8554 to talk about that a little bit. But inside here, 3.2 million, which includes OITS money. So there is some database money kind of buried inside that 3.2 million. And then on top of all that, when we get to 8554, there's a whole bunch more money associated with the SAFE Act, more than 3.2 million. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, on reappropriations, yes.
On reappropriation.
It's a reappro, so it appears to be more.
Okay.
Because there was 27, and there's only, they got 20 million addition.
Okay. Well, I don't necessarily want to talk about 8554, but if that's okay, I will. We can.
I'm not going to oppose.
Is that all right?
Yes.
What's your
And
question?
you asked the question, well
Okay,
answered.
that's fine. All right, that's fine. Then that'll probably save some time going forward there. So let's talk just for a moment then about 8554 and the 27 million. 7 million was spent last year.
That's correct.
There's no additional funding coming. We're just using another 20.
That's correct.
Is there any, but yet this database, and I'm glad it's not ready, but this database is not ready.
Right.
Where has the 7 million gone? Has it been a contract with a database, I don't know, provider, servicer? Where's the 7 million gone?
They did assault weapon registration, that's the one you don't like, mental health reporting, and ammunition only dealer registration. Those are the three things we worked on. Want me to say it again?
Yeah, could you repeat that?
Assault weapon registration, mental health reporting, and ammunition only dealer registration.
Okay. So I don't call them assault weapons because they're not, but assault weapon registration, how much went toward that?
We don't have the breakout. We know where it went, but we don't have the dollars on it.
How many of these quote-unquote banned firearms are now registered? Any numbers? Because the administration certainly hasn't been forthcoming with that.
I'm assuming, without seeing it, that when we use that word you don't like, begins with A, I think there's a definition of what that is in one of the laws.
Yeah, it's defined as that. It doesn't mean that that's an actual accurate definition, but we don't have a number on how many have been registered.
No, we don't have that in front of us.
Okay, mental health reporting, significant pushback from the mental health community. What is, how much was spent on that? Any details of the 7 million?
No, we don't have we have the breakout of what it is, but we don't have how it was done. We didn't get 250 for this, 330 for that.
Okay.
They said that we spent 300 X amount of money, and this is where we spend it.
Right, but that total is 7 million that we're saying so far. So last one, which I'm sure you probably don't have a number on this one either, but ammunition registration dealer only. I take it that is the database. That's okay. But yet none of that's in place.
No.
So
because it isn't finished yet. When it's finished, I gather we'd just be able to go to our computers when we get them next week and go right in.
But, okay, so 7 million is gone somewhere, but we can't exactly tell where, but it's gone. Is there a contract with a company to develop this database?
Without knowing, I would assume they're working with a company. We don't have the in-house ability to do this, so we assume it's being done by some program.
Okay, but no contract has gone out. Any RFP?
No, we don't know that.
Okay, we don't know that. Okay. All right. Denny, thank you very much. I appreciate the clarification.